Hey, shalom, shalom. Anak nawaha aibar yasha Allah hawalakim la'atam kol shawai ba'arachaba kakshoya b'shema shah. Hey, we the Hebrew Israelites coming to you week in and week out through the Spirit and power of b'shema shah to preach to you Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indians, Haitians, and Israelite foreigners. Repent yea for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Call halayim la Yahweh b'shema shah b'shem chach kodash. Wa mashana kabadim zakoyim na wa malakim shoya yasha Allah zakoyim rechag adawal. Wachasa, Washalom, Wabaraka, Milabachaya, Shahagawaya, Shalom. That's all praise to the Most High Yahweh, which means He exists. Bahashem, in the name Yahweh Shah, He delivers. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Israel, the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and mercy, peace, and blessings to the elect of the nation of Israel. Shalom, which means peace. All right, so just going into the topic of color in the scriptures, which would be Iyan, Bahasapar. All right, color in the Bible, or color in the book. And that book being the scriptures, of course. It says, colors hold significance for people around the world. Not only do colors influence emotion, but they also hold meaning in religion and various cultures. You see, so they got something called color psychology, all right? And when you automatically, when you see, so I'm just type it in. So color psychology says, color psychology is the study of hues as a determinant determinant of human behavior. Color influences perceptions that are not obvious, such as taste of food. Colors have qualities that can cause certain emotions in people. How color influences individuals may differ depending on age, gender, and culture. All right. And going back to the social construct, Esau, it says on age and culture. Here in this culture, if you throw so-called white on anything, they take it as, oh, well, they associate it with the so-called white man who is the Edomite. All right. Or if you put black on something, it gives you the connotation that, oh, it's negative, so-called black. Because when you think about the color black, well, black, the color has a meaning, but they put black, the connotation, on brown people, the Israelites. You see, so when you think about the color black, you associate black with void of enlightenment, void of illumination, void of judgment, and just dark energy and evil. You see, because if you go into the different colors, like right here it says black, it says dramatic. Let me go to another one. So it says power, mystery, elegance, stability. Let's see another one. It says bold, rich, power, mystery, elegance, evil. And most of the time it's that evil. When you think about red, love, immediacy, energy, sell, passion, anger, and hunger. Yeah, a lot of times when if you notice, like a lot of these fast food places, Pizza Hut, Wendy's, McDonald's, they all got the red signs because red make you hungry. It says passion, anger. All right. It says they don't got white up here. Let's see about this one. It says white comes with clearness, clarity, purify, simplicity, freshness, honest, clean, innocence. And that pushes forth, Esau claims himself to be white because that pushes forth his agenda. You see, if he took away the colors and everything, he took away all the deception and stuff, people would say, oh, it's you're the Edomite spoken of in the scriptures. You see, but when he throws the colors on stuff, it aids in his enterprise. You see, it helps push forth his deception. All right. I'm trying to see if I can find another one though. This one says death. Black is associated with death, evil, and mystery. All right. And one definition or synonym for white was innocence. Yeah, right there. It says innocence, it looks like. Yep, innocence, because they associate everything. If you put white on something, oh, well, white does mean innocence. Because if you go to Revelation, talks about that white stone. But see, Esau took that upon himself. So when he puts white on something, it just supposed to, like, oh, well, he putting himself as if he's innocent, therefore giving everybody else the thought that, hey, because it's a so-called white man, it got to be good. You see, but truly, internally, he's wicked. You see, that's mind games. All right, but the reason why color matters in the scriptures is for truth's sake. You see, because the Lord is the scriptures gives us a detailed description of the Lord. You see, and it matters for truth's sake because he painted everybody as if everybody was a so-called white man. You see, he takes the people of the scriptures, boom, so-called white. The so-called Native Americans, boom, white. The Egyptians, boom, white. Everybody that has some type of significance in history is always Edomite. But let's get into some scriptures. This is Acts chapter 13, and we're gonna start at verse 1. It says, now there were in the church that was at Antioch certain prophets and teachers, as Barnabas and Simon, that was called Niger, and Lucius of Cyrene, and Manon, which had been brought up with Herod the tetrarch, and Saul. All right, I'm gonna get this in the NLT because when they try to say, oh no, that says Niger, or when Niger ultimately means black as well. But if you go into the NLT, it says, among the prophets and the teachers of the church at Antioch of Syria were Barnabas and Simon, called the black man, Lucius from Cyrene, Manon, the childhood companion of King Herod, Antiochus, and Saul. All right, so they were so-called black men. You see, and the skin color isn't black. That was a derogatory term. All right, which the curses say would be called by words. You see, and exonyms. All right, that's basically a word that you put on another culture, but in that particular culture, they don't define themselves or identify as what you calling them as. For instance, nigga, wetback, spics, Indians. They didn't refer to themselves as Indians. Indians just goes back to savage. All right, but the NLT says a so-called black man. You see, and that shows that the prophets and the men of old and the nation of Yasha'Allah, Israel, they were dark skinned. You see, they wasn't how Esau painted them. When you go into the scriptures, Job 9:24, 1 Maccabees 3:48, it talks about how the heathen Esau Edom painted himself over the prophets, but chiefly the Lord, Hamashiach Yahushua, and then the angels, and then the men of the Lord. You see, that's what he does all throughout history. Let's get some more precepts. This is Job 9:24. Job 9:24. It says, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked, you so-called white people, starting with you Amalekites. It says, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. So they're in rulership. They got power over the world. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. All right. And the Amalekites have power. They rule everything. You see, they're the money behind everything. They own damn near everything in the world. You see, he covered the faces of the judges thereof to push forth his deception. You see, and the judges being the Lord Yahweh Bahashem Yahushua, you see, and his men and the angels. You see, if not, where and who is he? You see, so if it wasn't a so-called white man, who would it be? Because nobody else is doing this. You see, you don't see Moab painting his face on as the Lord. You don't see Elam doing that. They all got their own idols, you see. But Esau paints himself as if he's one of the saints. All right. My next precept is going to be 1 Maccabees chapter 3:48. It says, and laid open the book of the law, being the scriptures, wherein the heathen Esau Edom had sought to paint the likeness of their images. All right, and this was seen in iconoclasm. You see, they were painting over all the faces and stuff. And one particular image they painted over was Hamashiach Yahweh Shah. And that can be seen in Wisdom of Solomon 14, the 14th chapter. All right. Which I'm going to go to it. This is Wisdom of Solomon 14 and verse 15. Verse, let me see. Yeah, I said it, verse 15. It says, "For a father afflicted with untimely mourning, when he hath made an image of his son soon taken away." And that's referring to Caesar Borgia. All right, his father was Pope Alexander, if I'm not mistaken. It says, "Now honor him as a god, which was then a dead man, and delivered to those that were under him ceremonies and sacrifices. Thus, in the process of time and ungodly custom grown strong, was kept as law, and was graven images were worshipped by the commandments of kings." And a good example is that is Christmas. They so-called Christmas. They use his face, Caesar Borgia's face, and they put it as a ungodly custom. You see, it says, "Whom men could not honor in presence because they dwelt far off, they took the counterfeit of his visage from far. The counterfeit is a fake, and visage is the face, and made an express image of a king whom they honored, to the end that by this their frowardness they might flatter him that was absent as if he were present," because they was mourning for Caesar Borgia. "Also, the singular diligence of the artificier did help to set forward the ignorant to more superstition." All right, and an artificier is somebody that makes something with their hands. It says, "For he peradventure willing to please one in authority, force all his skill to make the resemblance of the best fashion. And so the multitude allured by the grace of the work took him now for a god which a little before was but honored." All right. And the point being that that's when they came up with the Caesar Borgia. All right. All right. This is Psalms 1 and 5. It says, "I am black, but calmly, O ye daughters of Jerusalem, as the tents of Kedar, as the curtains of Solomon." He's referring to his skin complexion. All right. And when you go into this word Kedar, it's the Hebrew word Quadar, which means dark colored skin. He had dark colored skin, and he was comparing it to the tents of Kedar. All right. And in totality, the tribes is gonna come looking like all the different nations. You see, Israel's a speckled bird, but see, this matters for truth's sake, because Esau pushes forth his deception. All right, he gets people confused. All right, this is Yeshaya chapter 28. Yeshaya chapter 28 and verse 17. Isaiah 28 and 17, it says, "Judgment also will I lay to the line, and righteousness to the plummet. And the hail shall sweep away the refuge of lies, and the water shall overflow the hiding place." All right, and that refuge of lies, and that hiding place being Esau Edom's deception. You see, this truth is coming forth, and this devil, he doesn't know what to do. You see, because for so long everybody went off of those strongholds that had everybody's mind locked up. You see, and even to this day, you see, you bring out the scriptures, what's written in the scriptures, the truth of the scriptures, and people still can't accept it. You see, but this knowledge, basically the so-called white man is being exposed, man. You see, all his lies and his deception, this truth is washing all that stuff away, because he had that strong, that heavy witchcraft and deception on the people for so long. And through the spirit, the Lord bestowed the spirit upon his men to bring out the truth of the scriptures and tell everything for what it truly is. That the Lord is a so-called black man. He's a Judite. And that Esau Edom is the so-called white man, the devil of the Bible. You see? This is 2 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 4, it says, "For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through the Most High to pulling down of strongholds." And one of them strongholds was that the image of Hamashiach, that he was a so-called Edomite, but truly he's a Jake. And it's a lot that he's a so-called white man when truly he's a Jake, he's a Judite, and he will be a so-called black man if he was on this earth today. You know, it says, "Casting down imaginations," that is a heavy imagination, some that Esau Edom came up with in his own mind, "and every high thing that exalted itself against the knowledge of the Most High." So all those precepts of men, all the lies, all the deception that was taken and ran with in years previous, it's no longer being able to fly. You see, because its truth is exposing everything. You see, and now these now the nations, and 2/3 of the nation of Israel are confounded. You see, because that false sense of security is being destroyed. All right, it says, "And bring it into captivity every thought to the obedience of Hamashiach." You see, so this word captures the mind of the believers into subjection to the Lord. You see, giving them the truth, giving us the truth. You see, this is Hawashah 7 and 8, Hosea 7 and 8. It says, "Apariam, he hath mixed himself among the people." Apariam is a cake not turned. All right, and Ephraim is a cake not turned, because they come looking like they skin complexion looks like Edomites all the way, and they all their complexion goes from looking like Edomites all the way to looking like Ham, but nevertheless, you see that they're a part of the nation of Yasha'Allah, the Ephraim, which means I am fruitful, Apariam. All right, but they come in all different shades. All right. All right, this is Jeremiah chapter 14 and verse 2. It says, "Judah mourneth, and the gates thereof languish. They are black unto the ground, and the cry of Jerusalem is gone up." All right. And this is important because the tribe of Judah has an appearance of dark skin, you see, and Esau doesn't like to admit it because he got to maintain his lie that the so-called Jewish people are the people, you see, when the true people were had melanated skin, you see. And again, to reiterate, the nation of Israel is going to be a speckled bird coming looking like all types of people, you see, but that cuts that the Amalekites are the people, you see, when they are of the nation of Esau, they derive from Esau Edom, you see. And that also, that's one of their lies, and also that cuts their lie of that we ain't shit, that we just blacks, so-called Hispanics, West Indians, and everything else, and what have you, you see, and so-called Mexicans, but we're not that, you see. So they got to maintain their lie, so we don't put two and two together, you see, because if we put two and two together, then they no longer have a lie. All right, but this is Daniel 10 and 5. Daniel 10 and 5. It says, "Then I lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a certain man clothed in linen, whose loins were girded with fine gold of Apaz." All right, and that place Apaz is basically a place where it was like a lot of gold. It was known for its gold. All right, it says a region of producing gold. So it says, "His body also was like the beryl, and his face as the appearance of lightning, and his eyes as lamps of fire, and his arms and his feet like in color to polished brass, and the voice of his words like the voice of a multitude." And it's talking about the Most High Yahweh. All right, and he's a Judite. You see, he's the ultimate Judite. You see, it says like the voice of a multitude. He spoke with authority. You see, he's a very austere man. Yahweh Shah is a very austere man. They coming in the same spirit. You see, they're both austere. You see. But that's the color of the Lord. It said the color of polished brass. You see, brass has a brown color. You see? All right, and this is Revelation chapter 13, or chapter 1 and verse 13. It says, in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man, that's Yahushua, clothed with a garment down to the foot, and girt about the paps with a golden girdle. His head and his hairs were white like wool, because he had very coarse hair, all right, as white as snow, and his eyes were as a flame of fire. Look, he looks just like the Father, the Most High Yahweh. And his feet like unto fine brass. All right, and your feet is the same color as your face, your whole body, as if they burn in a furnace. When you burn something that has a very dark color. And his voice as the sound of many waters. You see, so he spoke with authority, and he was very austere, as the scriptures get into, you see, and that matters for the color in the scriptures. Iyan, Bahasapar matters in the scriptures because for truth's sake, you see, because that's what the scriptures says. So that's what the Lord looked like. He not a so-called pale face, blonde hair, blue-eyed devil. You see, the Lord is an austere man. He'll be a so-called black man, and he will have coarse hair, and he speaks with authority. And so you see, that's what the Lord, so that's what this world is scared of. You see, and that's why they're trying to keep up their lie. You see, but it's not going to work. This truth is coming out. It's already out. You see. But Lord's widow, Zedifine, call her like Mla, Yahweh, Bashim, Yahweh, Shah, Bashim, Kakadash. Hey, double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that taught me the truth from Ruel. Much respect to you, brothers out there, preaching this truth with all righteousness and sincerity. Shalom, shalom.